Legend tells of the phoenix, a mythical bird that burns. It symbolizes renewal, strength, and transformation. 1 year ago, Phoenix Gate Group was born with that same fiery spirit to inspire, connect, and empower professionals across the globe. And what a journey it's been. Under the visionary leadership of Dr. Vivian Magnus, our founder and lead coach, we didn't just take flight, we soared, we stumbled, we built, we believed. And today, through tears and triumph, we celebrate 1 year of relentless impact, meaningful milestones, and unimaginable transformation. From humble beginnings, Zoom links, voice notes, midnight strategy calls, we've grown into a powerhouse community with nearly 1,000 members strong. In just 12 months, we have reached over 40,000 professionals across the US, UK, Ghana, Nigeria, Uganda, and Kenya. Nearly 1,000 attendees joined us weekly on LinkedIn, and the world took notice. This year, Phoenix Gate was honored with the Social Impact Award of the Year and named the Most Impactful Community of the Year. Those trophies, they carry the fingerprints of every volunteer, every coach, every community member who chose to rise with us. But our story goes beyond resumes and recognition. Beyond professional development, Phoenix Gate has walked into the sacred space of business strategy with international and non-governmental organizations. We've led masterclasses, outreaches, boot camps, and visibility challenges that didn't just teach, they healed. And through it all, Dr. Magnus, our business development coach, stood at the center. A quiet force, a lighthouse in the storm. So now we ask you, are you struggling with your line visibility? Do you ever feel unseen while secretly dreaming of becoming a commanding influence, a recognized thought leader? Are you in that place between faith and fear, waiting for your breakthrough? At Phoenix Gate, we've already reached 40,000 professionals and business leaders worldwide. But this is not about numbers. It's about the transformation behind every name. We train you, we champion you, we give you a platform. And when you stand to speak, we make sure the world listens. As we mark this 1 year journey, we do it with full hearts. Gratitude overflows for our members, our partners, and every soul that carried us when we were too weary to walk. Phoenix Gate Group is not just a network. It is a living, breathing, purpose-driven community. It is hope. It is healing. It is home. And still, this is only the beginning. Here's to a future brighter than flames. We rise together.
Hi everyone. If you can hear me crystal clear, just give me a CC. If you can see me, give me another CC. Okay, or let's say see you. So crystal clear for hearing me. See you for seeing me. So see you for seeing me. Crystal clear CC, so that I can go quickly into our agenda for today. As I promised, I said today we're going to be very, very fast. I tried my possible best to make sure that this happened, because last week I got a lot of conversations in the comments and everybody really wanted to know all that I brought on board. And I felt like it is fair that I teach everyone literally as much as possible. For those who can afford us and join us, right, in our free our challenge. Well, I would call it free challenge because you're basically just paying for the materials, and then we're going to meet like 3 times in the 7 days. So that cannot, how do I explain this? Like 10K plus would not even be enough to guarantee all the energy that I'm going to be putting in. I'm going to bring out my materials, everything that you need tonight. Like I said, is a promise. I have Simran already backstage. She's all the way from Singapore. We want to make sure that, we will experience LinkedIn from different dimensions tonight. We want to make sure that everybody is growing. And if there's anything that we, the Nigerians, are probably just, putting or Africans are putting so much ahead of us, we want to hear somebody who is actually working from another perspective in terms of, monetization. So I want to say that I welcome every one of us. So like you can see, the conversations going over your screen. I want you to mention your niche, your location, and leave yourself open to a possible collaboration. Okay, I've seen. I think Simran is ready. Let me bring her right in. Hi, Simran. How you doing today?
Hey, hello. Sorry, I just jumped on from Yasmin's live. I just realized we had
Ooh.
a clash today. And I
Oh
know a
my
lot of
goodness.
people have just like literally pulled from there to here. So, yeah. And I'm not joining on my midnight because I'm in India and it's still like 9:30 p.m. So it's a good
Oh,
timing.
beautiful. Because I was super
Thank
worried. I
you so
wanted you to
much.
come really early so that we'll be able to like
Yeah.
be directly on the board, and you would help us by sharing your story. I know that a lot of people have, approached LinkedIn from different time zones. So like I promised them, we're going to teach them how to attract high paying clients and land remote jobs under 90 minutes. I'll try my best to keep to time, as many of us that would want to be a part of us, right? Literally can always try to join us for other things. So thank you so much for coming tonight. Awesome. So kindly introduce yourself, your niche, your location, and I know that a possible collaboration can come to you from this, because it's very important that everybody knows who is currently on this live, and look forward to reaching out to some of these people. Look for a name, look for someone in your niche and try to reach out to them. You want to make sure that you're doing the right thing. Okay, I'm saying this again because of those people who probably cannot join our community. Make sure that you find help. Don't be silent about your journey. Don't walk around LinkedIn alone claiming that it's not working. LinkedIn works like magic. I mean, for some of us, um we didn't have a choice. Literally, we didn't have a choice about staying in on here. For me, I had twins. I always tell this story all the time. I had twins and I had to earn, so it didn't make sense that um I had any choice. I wanted to stay in the life of my children, so I had to earn remotely. I think one of the challenges a lot of us have is that we have choices. Literally, we still want to maybe get other opportunities from somewhere else, or maybe you have someone, and some of you might just be shame, like you're not bothered about begging. For me, I had that very thick call in my heart. I found it very hard to ask for money from anyone else, including my husband, including my parents. So I had to do what I needed to do. So I think the reason why probably LinkedIn is not working for some of us is because we have other options. And like I said, it's not bad. It depends on what your values are. But I can tell you over and over again that it's essential that you put yourself out there. And that's part of the things we're going to be having tonight. So as soon as you're coming in, say your name, your niche, because somebody can be collaborating with you, because some of the things we're going to teach you tonight is going to help you literally get some of those biggest collaborations that you've been looking for. Trust me, you should not, you know, carry or do LinkedIn alone. Don't do LinkedIn alone. If there's anything you're probably going to take out of this place in the first few minutes, don't do LinkedIn alone. So I have my amazing Simram. Also, I was considering her timing. I even had it in mind that she'll probably talk to us first, right? Before I even hold a conversation. I'm going to teach like the full class. Some of you will literally start working from tomorrow. So some of the nuggets you're going to get this night, you're going to start working immediately. So that for some of you who cannot join us, no problem. You make sure that you start. We'll give you the nuggets of what you can start doing. And then if you feel like you don't have much clarity, you can always reach out to be a part of us. So I'm going to be letting Simram introduce herself, right? And then she can tell us her own journey as well on LinkedIn, what brought you here, and then how you've been able to close big deals. Because a lot of us have confused the numbers for for opportunities or monetization. Today we're going to squash the huge difference. There are lots of people who don't have the numbers, but they are closing deals because there's another way you can get that done. So I'm going to say tonight, if we're going to achieve anything, as well as in that challenge, part of our major achievement is that we're going to teach you how to get opportunities irrespective of your number. Some of you already know my story. I talked about how the fact that yes, so I have my baby hanging around. Okay, so so you guys can see why I love to work at home. I love to work at home because at least I get to be in the life of my babies, and that's what I'm probably suggesting to everyone who is here to make sure that they are doing what is right, for the season that you're in. So if you're just coming in, introduce yourself, like you said, kindly repost the event as well so that we can get more people to come in. And like we said, we're going to spend just 90 minutes. In the next 1 hour, 30 minutes, we're out of here as well. So I'm going to be letting in Simram to tell us her journey and then some of the things that she has been doing to learn remote roles. And like I promised, I told us that I have a full um slides. I have like literally almost 70 slides. We will see how we can do that within the 1 hour, 30 minutes that we have. Wherever we stop, we'll continue in the community. So if you're not yet part of the community, you want to reach out and join us like that. So over to you, Simran. The mic is yours.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Vivian, for having me again. I have a bit of a backstory before I go over to the introduction. So I was one of the first few creators that got into like Dr. Vivian's live. I know she has done over like, I don't know, 2,000 plus, 200 plus lives. Right now, that's what she said on her post. So yeah, I know some of the people in the audience are already familiar with me, but if you do not know me, I am a designer in Singapore. I'm based in Singapore, but right now I'm in India because I had to fly back for a medical emergency. But I'm still coming up for this live because I was like so happy to have this here, and it suited the timing, so it's not on my midnight for the first time. Right. So I also do a 9 to 5. So I am based in Singapore. I have been working for 6 long years. So I'm someone who has not quit her job and building on LinkedIn. Well, thanks to my boss, he's letting me do that. So I'm not going to jinx it because I know a lot of corporate people, you're not able to do that because your company doesn't allow it. But for me, they did. And I'm building a business on LinkedIn. So previously it was a design agency. I've been on LinkedIn for like 1.5 years now. Now I've expanded it to like an entire B2B business funnel. So I have a lot of different things I'm working on. So I'm launching like a design community by end of this year. And I'm very much focused on building like B2B business brands. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking my corporate experience because I do marketing for a company that does space lasers here in Singapore. So whatever I'm doing that for a company, I'm doing that for now multiple companies. So it's a very, very simple model. At first, I started off with a freelance, but now I've grown to an entire business agency model. I have clients from US, Canada, UK, Africa even. I have clients from Africa, like someone so far away. And I've literally hired people from Africa. Like, I love you guys. I think one of the first people that I hired, Kwaku, he was from Africa. Yeah, he was my first team member. So today's live, I think it is about that you can land a job from anywhere in the world if you are on LinkedIn. So this is just me, sharing about that this can actually happen. And also for someone who is coming up from a 9 to 5 background, that means I'm not online all the time. Hey, I'm working, I can't text or engage on LinkedIn. I know there are people here which are literally sitting on LinkedIn. And I know I'm not jealous of you guys, but I know you have higher likes and comments than me. Because sorry, I can't engage the whole day. I have a day job. And I know other Dr. Vivian has her kids, has her life. Everybody has their lives. But the thing that we're gonna focus here on is we're still here building a business. So if I'm someone working a 9 to 5 can build a business here, that means anyone here who's launching their own freelance stuff, their business, or they're looking for searching up for jobs, they can find here. By the way, I still get recruiters searching me for jobs, even though I'm not available for jobs. So that means that your profile is always up there working, even though you don't put open to work. So that is something interesting that I found these days after the entire LinkedIn's algo changed. So yeah, probably during the live event we're gonna talk about this more. But in a nutshell, I'm someone 20 something. I'm still 24, 20, 25. Yeah, I'm turning 25 this year, and someone who has worked 9 to 5, built her own business. I live here in Singapore, which is a very teeny tiny island. I'm planning to travel to Africa probably Dr. Vivian could help me sort out my visas. So that's my goal, because I've loved the country and I've done a lot with these people, and yeah, I it's just very personal to me. So yeah, this is why I'm here on the live, and yeah, let's see what we have ahead.
Amazing. This is so super beautiful. So I'd like you to let's have a lot of discussion. You know what we discussed about earlier before we came in here. I'd like you to also share how you get some of your opportunities. Okay, handling a 9 to 5. Maybe I should ask everybody who is currently in the audience, do we have any 9 to 5 in this place? If you're a 9 to 5 and professional, just write 9 to 5. Let's just know how you've been navigating. What are the things that you've been hearing on landing opportunities? So I'm going to hand over, like I said, Simran, I'm looking at your time. I'd want you to, share everything you have for us tonight. You're going to lead the conversations. As soon as you're done, I'll quickly share mine and then we call it a day. So I'm handing over the mic back to you.
All right. So I have a couple of pointers about how do you wanna, land a job. I know you have a time frame of 7 days. Well, that's a very tight, time frame. But finding a job can happen as quickly as in 24 hours, 2 weeks, 2 months, depending on how you approach it, right? So the first off is you want to figure out what kind of job that you fit in. So, for example, me, I'm someone that did a computer science engineering. So I'm from a very tech background. Yes, I did all the coding and the boring stuff. But now I apply for jobs and I get hired for jobs that are for marketing, that are for growth, for social media, and all of that. Now, when you compare my degree to my experience, that is completely different stuff. And I know that's the norm. Nobody is doing whatever they study. Okay. So if you're someone who's doing this, all you got to do is you have to, update your profile, which is what everyone talks about on LinkedIn. You have to update your profile. But when I say update your profile, meaning that you have to very specifically focus on your experience section and your about section. Very, very important, these two. So what you have to include is basically the skill sets that you have been using. For example, if I want to go for a job that asks for a social media manager, and they're specifically talking about, they will talk about design tools like you should know Canva, you should know Google Ads and all of that. Now I know that is the requirement. I need to fit my profile into that requirement. Right now, what I think 80% of the people are doing wrong is they're trying to, it's like fishing in the market. You're trying to catch every other fish, which you're not a fit of, So you have to tailor your profile according to that job. So, and if you do it this way, it's very, very focused. So you're not going to get a lot of rejection emails that is going to, make you very sad, very depressed and stuff like that, but you're going to get a higher success rate. So you're going to do a very focused way. And that does not mean that you can't change your LinkedIn profile. Just change it. Every time you apply to a job, just change it, because that is going to help you go in, have a higher acceptance rate when you apply for a job. So for example, if I'm going for this social media job that I talked about, I'm going to update all of my experience section with like whatever I did with the social media tools, whatever they need. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make it ready. And then I'm going to apply for it. Now, a very important thing that people miss is the skills section. So if you look over to a job anywhere on LinkedIn, they would have these skills listed out. And then your profiles are actually ranked against that skill. So are you a 70% match? Are you a 60% match? Are you a 90% match? Very, very easy. Go to your skill section and add all of them. That's the first step you got to do. So that whenever you're 90% match, it just pushes up your profile on top of it. That's something that we all can fix. It's simple, easy. And also, if you want, how we can recommend skills to each other. For example, if Dr. Vivian says she knows Canva, I don't know. If she want to go for a job, I'll go and recommend her. So ask your friends to recommend your skills. That's how you get to be on top of the recruiters list, on top of any of the job that you're applying for. So step one, update your profile, update your about section. What you do, update your experience section, very, very tailored to the job description. Find out the keywords. I mean, right now you can just use Claude or GPT or any kind of AI tool that you use. They will just tailor that section. So just throw in the job description, throw in your profile, and then they will do that for you. And then update your skills. So that's the first step. Now, something interesting that has come up recently is definitely I know we have the creator marketplace right now, where I mean it's not launched in Asia right now and not in Africa. So it's in US and UK, but we can talk about it later on. But that is like one way where right now people are just searching to a topic. So let's say if I just do B2B growth marketing in Africa, maybe Dr. Vivian's profile pops up. Why? Because she talks about it. Her profile talks about it because she engages with people who talk about it. So these three key factors are coming into place. So she didn't even need to do her entire, the services and all of that. Her content speaks about her profile, and that's how I see her. So that's a creator marketplace. Now, the other thing that you can leverage is definitely the AI search. So you do know that LinkedIn is being ranked as the second most cited platform on AI LLMs. Like right now, if I go on Google, I will just look at the AI Gemini summary. I think everyone in the audience does that. So that means your post, your profile, the people that are engaging are all channeling on creating this content for you. So for example, if I'm searching for a job, you don't have to say, I'm open to work in every single of your posts. No, don't do that. What kind of content? I think I have, I'm sure Dr. Vivian would also agree, but there's a lot of questions that my mentors ask me that when I'm searching for a job, what kind of content should I post? Should I just actively go and market that, oh, I am a social media designer who's looking for these opportunities. And, it's like everyone out there in the team. I would say flip it to a way where you are going for, let's say Canva would be very ambitious, but let's say another company. I know Coachly is there in Africa. There's like this company which tags about social media and is a creator business agency, if I'm not wrong. So if you want to go and get hired into these second or third tier kind of companies, I would go and study the profile of the company, look at what they're posting, and then I would do a flip around post with my opinion on it, which means I'm going from a person who wants to be hired to a person who has an opinion and coming out as an expert. For example, there's this lady out there who is coming out with a trend right now where she's talking about in her post where she's talking about, oh, I sent a connection request to LinkedIn's co-founder, and she's writing a post about it. And that's going viral for some XYZ reason. Now, I don't care about the reason, but I know the lady now, So you can be this very random in just getting ahead of the recruiters. So if you're finding a job, you can just put out whatever your opinion is. Like if you're a social media designer, just put out how AI does very random designs. And I just don't like it. I know Jasmine Gatoga does it every time. She's a good friend of mine. She's a designer. And she used AI versus her design. Just use that. And then you can tag the companies. The company will see it. Canva sees it. So that's how your reach, how big your reach can get. So you don't have to worry about what kind of content you want to do. Your content can be very opinion based and very your personal based. And you don't have to say that you're, open to work or you want a job and stuff like that. People know everyone wants jobs right now. They're like, I think in our inbox, everybody is like pitching for jobs and stuff like that. So that's that. Any questions on this before I move forward? Okay, maybe I am telling something that's useful. I don't know. I get hired by this, and I always keep applying to jobs to know what is, on the job market. So I hope this works. Now let's move on to the second stuff. Now we went through the first step, which is fixing your profile. Then we talked about the content that you have to do. Now, a lot of people ask that, okay, So if you are, if someone reaches out to you, what should you reply? So right now in my inbox, there are like a lot of sponsored posts where recruiters are just reaching out to you, because LinkedIn is pushing that entire business economy stuff where you can just pay and your posts get seen, or your DMs get seen and stuff like that. So a lot of that is happening right now. The key here is if people are reaching out to you. So let's talk about scenario number one. When they reach out to you that they're looking for jobs and stuff like that, how do you reply? So right now you can use definitely AI tools, but the key framework that you should include when you're talking to these people is that you should introduce yourself, definitely what you're looking for. You should talk about the work first rather than, okay, this is how you can hire me, or I'm looking for this and stuff like that. So you should talk about work. So I work with this creator and, I help her launch her business, and this were my results. So try to make your DM, whatever you do to a recruiter, more results focused, because a recruiter, they already reached out to you. They love you. They know your profile. They want to know more. So don't copy paste your resume out there on your DM. Just tell them something more. That's one. Second way that you can actually do something unique. So I saw this DM, and I also suggested to one of my mentee as well, that let's say if you're a video editor, right, for example, and I want to get hired by Dr. Vivian, for example, or maybe I don't know, or you can just consider a big company. What I will do is, as a video editor, I'll just take Dr. Vivian's video, take a 15-second shot, edit it, and then just send it to her. Like, hey, here's a link that I think, that will work out for you, and see if this, suits you, or if my work suits you. So she didn't ask for it, number one. But what I did here was something that I was not trying to sell myself, but I was trying to sell through my work. But you're not saying that you want to get hired, but you're just telling her that if you like my edits, or here's my opinion and here's my feedback, just take it and see if you want to love it, if you're going to love it. People are getting hired by this. Try to use this. It always works. It's like I've got my banner redesigned 10 to 20 times by a lot of designers, and I hired one of them because I love them. I love their idea. I didn't ask for it. Nobody asked for it. They just did it, and that's how they pitched it, and that's how they got the job. This works for personal brands. This works for the business brands. It works for everything. Now, if you're someone who's reaching out to a recruiter, you have your resume prepped up, you have your LinkedIn prepped up, you want to do what people say cold mailing, what people say cold DMing. Well, that works, but it's like a hit or a miss. The recruiter sees it, okay, it's your luck. If the recruiter does not see it, it's out there. So it's like you're sending out 100 emails or maybe 100 cold DMs, and you're not even getting a single reply. And this happens when you want to go for the big companies. So I've had mentees who wanted to reach out to, let's say, Google, Amazon, and those kind of big four companies, how we say that, big techies. So going to those companies is a bit tough. Why would I say that? Because one, the competition is a lot, right? So the chances of you standing out reduced a lot as well. So what you got to do is leverage LinkedIn or social media. So these are the people that work. Let's say I want to get hired by Google. I mean, I'm not saying I'm really going to get hired by Google, but if I want to try to do this, the steps I'm going to follow are for a big company that you're looking at. I'm talking about a very, very big size, maybe 50 to 100 people that work in the company. So if you want to focus on those companies, maybe in your region, the steps that you're going to do is you're going to try cold mailing, but you're going to try it a very, very different way. Before you do that cold email, you're going to follow people on LinkedIn first. Go and research that people on LinkedIn. Research about the company, research about what are the new projects, what are the new tech tools that you're working on. Okay, so you've done your homework. You know what their company is focused on. Now, stalk. Yes, I'm literally using the word stalk, the people in the company. that can be, let's say if you want to go for a designer role, or maybe you want to go for a business development role, or you want to go for a virtual assistant role. Those are if you're looking for those kind of roles, go for the people who work in your department. Look at if they're posting on LinkedIn. Well, most of the time they wouldn't post on LinkedIn, right? Then go for the recruiters, the HR people. Most of the time, these tech companies are always, whenever they hire, they will post about it. So you got to be the first one to actually go and apply. Well, there's this myth where it always works, where let's say if a company posts a job, within 1 hour, if you apply, you get a higher chance of a reply. I mean, at this point of time, even a rejection is a good thing. So do you know that you can focus on the next one? So you have to be the first one to apply. So stalk the company, stalk the people, and then see when they're posting out the job application. Okay. Now the job application is already out. You want to hit that apply button. There are different ways to do it. One, the company has its own LinkedIn page, like the job portal page. The other is you want to hit apply from your LinkedIn stuff. The third and the hidden way is that you get a referral. Well, that's a very, very hard way to do it. But I'm going to say this. If you're getting a referral from anyone in the company, please don't apply yet. You got to get the referral, go through the referral route. Don't go through the job application route because they wouldn't consider it. It won't be considered in the referral stop. Your referral efforts will go all in waste. But if you don't have a referral, you still are out there on the mass and you're applying through the job portal, or you're applying for the LinkedIn. Now the job portal asks you to, put in all your job description, and put in all of the details. And most of the time, when I was the first, like a newbie, I didn't know all about this. I would just copy paste my entire resume, put it in there. I don't know how many times I've done that, like 10 to 15 times. Like they would just come up and keep asking the same question. Okay, what is your experience? Even though I uploaded my resume, they will still ask me to fill it, and it still is. Like if you want to apply to like those big companies, like even like Cisco, Microsoft and all, they have the same workflow. Okay, so you have to do things differently here. You don't have to literally copy paste your resume. Say things that are not in your resume. They already have your resume. Please do that. That's how the application tracking system works. And you should have different versions of your resume. Nobody says that you need to have a single resume. Please, we're past that phase. I know we're Gen Z. I know we have Gen Alpha coming up. So we can have different shades of us, right? So right now I'm a marketer. But if I want to apply for a business development role, sure, I can come up with a resume which is very, very BD focused. And I know I can get that role, at least the interview stage. So as you might have different experiences within your lifespan, tailor it, and then apply for the job. Higher chance that you would get it and you would get a reply. Now, if you're using a LinkedIn profile, again, change your LinkedIn profile according to the job description and apply for it. So that's how you can get yourself tailored up to it and, try to get a and reach out to these people. Now, on the cold mailing part, I know a lot of people would have questions on this. Like, how do you do cold mailing to the recruiters? I use a different strategy. I don't cold email recruiters. I cold email the department managers, like the future manager that's going to hire me. I cold email that. Okay, where do you find the emails? Very easy. Search LinkedIn. If you can't search LinkedIn, there are tools like hunter.io where you can just put up the company and the email list will come up. You know why I'm telling you not to first off go and email recruiters? Recruiters are getting like 1,000 emails. There's no way they're going to see yours. Like, it's a recruiter's job. In their job description, it's already said, okay, you're going to receive 1,000 emails, so you have to look at that. So imagine a recruiter's life, when you're applying for jobs. Just put yourself in their shoes and see if you are going to hire that person. So try the manager route, try the department route. I know people have also emailed to like co-founders and founders. They do that. I know Lara Acosta literally tagged LinkedIn on her one of her posts, and then LinkedIn invited her to a live. She just shot her shot. Like, she just did that openly in front of her entire community. I know because she's Lara, but what the takeaway from that was that she just did it. It was like any of us could have done it. So just do it to the co-founders, to the department managers, anywhere that you can use. You can do recruiters, but at the second layer, try to do those first. Now, how do you reach out to? I know Dr. Vivian would have like a couple of frameworks that she would go through, but yeah, we won't get into the details. But I'm just gonna walk you through the different things that you can do differently to what you're doing right now. Okay, I'm gonna take a pause here. Am I sharing anything that's making sense? Oh, she claps. Okay, guys, do you have any questions? I saw a couple of questions. Let me just read it out. So we have virtual assistant, we have digital marketing specialist. I know we have a lot of VAs in Africa. A lot of people are VAs for a good reason. I want to know why, but yeah. So we have 15 plus years experience. So knowing how to position. What if you're okay? We have a question. What if you're a founder and searching for clients and not jobs? Okay. So we're in another shoes where you're not going for a 9 to 5, but you're going for a client and a more retainer version. If you're a founder, you should be able to sell a problem that you're solving and not your product. That's the first thing. Okay. For example, I am a designer. Now I've grown to a B2B marketer. So I solve problems where a lot of founders are not able to tell their stories. So I will talk about things that, what founders face, and then how do I solve them through my theories. And then I'll back it with people that have already done it. So first step as a founder, don't sell your offer yet. Sell what you're going to solve. If they have a problem, for example, I'm going to start talking about, and I've been talking about company LinkedIn pages on LinkedIn. Surprisingly, nobody's talking about it. Like Dr. Vivian has Phoenix Gates as her company, but nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about the company. Everyone talks about their personal brand on LinkedIn. So what if I'm a founder and I'm building a company and I need help people to launch my company on LinkedIn? Nobody's talking about it. And I'm someone who started talking about it, and now I'm getting clients to it. Because I saw a problem. I saw everyone talking about personal brand, but nobody was talking about a company brand. And I solved the problem, and now I'm getting clients to it. But hey, I did not pitch my offer yet. I did not pitch I do designing. I did not pitch I do copywriting. I did not pitch that I do all of this LinkedIn branding stuff. So that's the first thing that you need to know as a founder, that what is the problem they're trying to solve. Now, if you're going for after the clients, there are various ways to do it, but the fastest way to do right now, based on what has changed from the algorithm, is first you need to ensure that your profile is tailored to your client. For example, right now, if you're selling too many things, it's confusing your audience. So try to tailor to one thing. Now, this is something I learned from Yasmin. One thing does not mean one single offer. One thing means a bigger umbrella. For example, Yasmin sells coaching. So he coaches people on writing. He coaches people on business, speaking, everything. Everything is just coaching, right? So that does not mean it's one niche. So try to tailor everything. All of your content, all of your profile should point to that one thing. For example, Dr. Vivian, we know her as Queen of Monetization. Queen of Monetization, we know it's her. How do we know that? People talked about it. She talked about it. And then, it's a very unique thing that she talks about. So I know her. So if I want to look at someone who want to monetize in Africa, or if I want to come to Africa and launch a business, I'll look out for her. Not because I know she does it well, but because I know she is the only one who's doing it. that's a very, very huge difference when it comes to it. Now, that's something that you want to change when you want to go for your clients. And also right now, just be very considerate on who you are engaging on LinkedIn. Very, very, very important. For me, I took like a 4-month long break on LinkedIn. And then I came back to LinkedIn and I was like, what is happening? My impressions were down. I didn't see people I was seeing again. I didn't see Dr. Vivian's post for like 1 month. That's how affected the LinkedIn algo was. So I flipped it to only focusing on people I want to communicate with. So let's say if you are selling a X service, go and engage with people that need that X service. That's how you're going to get the client. It's very, very simple right now. Just talk about your niche, engage with people who are within your niche, who are your clients. You're going to do the entire community building, the entire for your engagement and stuff like that secondary. First priority, just keep it to very, very topic based, because now LinkedIn's algorithm has changed. It is very, very topic focused. So if you're not engaging with people that are relevant to what you say, they're not going to push your post. You're not going to get clients, and you know how it goes. So that's something that you can change. All right, more questions? What is your applied for different roles like patients care coordinator and data entry? How do we go about tailoring my LinkedIn profile to accommodate the both roles? And again, how many applications should be applied at a time? Patient care coordinator and data entry. Interesting. I'm not sure if this patient care coordinator is something you want to do it like on a like a clinic basis, or you have to be present on it. But the underlying thing, what I understand, is still the data. Patient care coordinator, you would still have to do something with data. So very interesting use case. Let's say if you want to go for is XYZ company that's hiring or not hiring, but you like it, you want to get hired by them. You're going to look at their data. You're going to look at the way they function, the workflow. Data entry. So I assume you're good at data. You're going to come up with a dashboard that helps us, look at, their patient data. You're going to help them summarize. Right now, building a dashboard is very easy. Just use Claude to do it. So you're using AI, number one, because everybody wants to see if you use AI. Second, you won't be able to use their patient data. There's a lot of data which is accessible online where you can use to build a dashboard. Go and tag that team, that company that you want to get hired for. Or if not, then you can just go in general, target to that audience that, hey, I built a dashboard that helps you, summarize your patient summary in 5 minutes. I want to look at that. If I'm someone from this company, or if I'm a medical, a company that hosts medical hospitals and stuff like that, I want to look at something like that, because those people are spending like 8 hours figuring out, what blood type am I, something like that. So you want to make their lives and days easier. So that's like the number one way you can actually, get their eyes with. Now, the next question that you came up with is like, how do you update your profile to accommodate both the roles? I would say, because I don't know the full context here, I would say if it's something related to data, then you can just be very much focused to data. Like you're focused on summarizing data for medical healthcare people, or you help medical healthcare professionals, summarize their data or something like that. It can be something along that line. And if it's not data, if you just want to go for medical stuff, then you can just say that, okay, I use XYZ skills to get your data summarized. Now, that does not mean it applies to medical. If you're good at data, you can actually take data from anything. It can be data from healthcare. It can be data from, surveys. It can be data for founders, anything. You're using XYZ skills to build dashboards. That's very simple. And that's also beneficial because now you're not only applying to healthcare as an industry, you're also applying to other industry. So your reach is widened. That means you get more interview calls. So you might want to try that as well. I hope that answers, Priscilla. Okay, any more questions before I move on to the next stuff?
Well, for me, I think data entry as a role, yikes, 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 is giving up work. It's giving up work. Um, Having it as a role that is too below the bar. That's like literally low hanging fruit, and anybody can do data entry. I think you're looking at it from the fact you're looking at it from data analysts. Data entry literally means putting in data into whatever dashboard. And a lot of people do that. A lot of beginners do that because they feel it's easier to do, or they can literally do that for most people. So I don't know. Patient care coordinator also has, you know, data entry as part of what you do. How do you coordinate people if you're not entering data? So you using, I think they're I wouldn't even call data entry a niche per se. Okay, so I'm doing my one eyes closed. I won't call it a niche per se. I would say it's something you do in a niche. So, saying that your patient care coordinator has data entry to it is part of the things you're going to do, because there's no way you're going to coordinate patients without entering data or sending them messages or following them up or using some of those apps that are used. So I think making it seem like they are two different things is somewhat, but you have to decide, because, well, if you want to treat data entry as a niche, you're not that special, because a lot of people are going to be fighting for that spot as well. You're more special if you do patient care coordinator, but your chances of getting opportunities are quite tight. Maybe what I want to ask you is, what's your background? Did you read medicine, pharmacy, biochemistry? We just need to think about where you're trying to put yourself right now, because um I see you putting yourself in a very tight or copied space. Like I said, we will not be brutal today. We're going to try our best to be very kind. Last week was horrible, okay? But I think we need to talk about Priscilla. I don't know if you're part of the group, but I think I would need to talk to you specifically, because you need to know what you're doing in the long run. And like I said, this is literally giving Upwork people. On Upwork you can choose anything and get opportunities in that direction. But I feel like patient care coordinator, you have data entry as part of it. So why do you want to put data entry as a different? It's supposed to actually be part of the skills you have to execute patient care coordinator. But if you want it to be like a whole conversation of what you do, there are a lot of people. Like every newbie on Upwork is a data entry specialist, and I don't think anybody's as special like that. Think about the possible amount that you're going to be earning as well. They don't pay them anything serious. So you want to, like I say, for this community, when you want to build something that is long term. You need to also build something that you can easily convert into a business, because you don't want to do things that trap you in a space where you look for opportunities and it's seeming like it's going to be, a thunder and brimstone. But you guys most times fix yourself in places where you're already disadvantaged. So maybe I'd want to ask you specific questions. Let's look into your history or the things that you've done before, to make sure that we bring out some of the most important things. It will even be better to place you on a niche that is more stronger, except you're building on Upwork. If you're building on Upwork, well, I'll say congratulations. But you also want to build in such a way that you're looking at long term. That's what I do for all our community members. You make sure that you're building for long term. You're not just building because you're looking for an opportunity. You build something that can also be converted into businesses, like at the flip of your hands. So I think that question has a lot of questions on it. So someone else asked another question.
Yes, I was gonna say that this was my another favorite one, but thank you, Priscilla. I think we need more context to to solve your question. Okay, so this one is like, why do recruiters don't want to hire someone with no experience, even you would do well in the role? This is from someone who's very positive. Me and Dr. Vivian are laughing because we know we might not do well in the role. But kudos to you guys to thinking about that. So, okay, if I'm someone I know I'm gonna do well in the role, why is a recruiter not hiring me? Because just because I don't have any experience. I think at this point of time, if you're on LinkedIn and if you're joining this live, I would still say you have a bit of experience that you know about LinkedIn, you know about social media, you know a little bit about yourself. Now let's come up to this specific scenario where you want to go for a role where you don't have any experience with. I want to go back to the story. Like, what does experience means to you? Does it? Are you thinking about experience only means when you worked 9 to 5? Because that right now, all of this mindset has actually changed. So if you have done a project, that is an experience. For example, me, I have worked as a cashier on a student. When I applied for my first job, I remember it was at a bank, Standard Chartered Bank. I went for a bank. I don't know why, because everybody around me for working was going for a bank. I didn't have a good internship. I just had this experience, which was me doing my undergrad in Singapore. But I worked a lot during my university days. I worked as a cashier. I literally sold SIM cards. I worked for like those old people for like as a community caregivers. That was there in my resume. That was there as my experience because I counted as experience. Hey, I worked 3 years for these people because I developed my people skills. As a cashier, I developed my logical skills, my detail oriented skills. I used all of that as my experience to kind of like back it up. So even at when I applied for this bank, the interview was like, Simran, I was quite surprised by your resume. That was the reason my resume stand out. He was like, you put everything that you did in the university in your resume. I was like, sorry, but I didn't have any experience, working in a bank. I thought this was something useful. I thought this was something that turned out for you. Well, because you know that you're gonna do well, so you will definitely pass in the technical test that they give you. But when it comes to the resume, you got to use all of these things to be part of your experience section. So your project, anything that you did that can highlight the skills that you're looking for. So any recruiter out there looks for the skill. They don't care that skill came from 10 years experience, 15 years experience. If you have that skill, you have a chance. You're always going to remember that. Now, if you're on LinkedIn and if you're doing social media, definitely use that as a skill. I mean, when I applied for a social media role when I was first searching for my few clients, I know I did that because I used my profile as a testimonial. I was like, hey, I generated 1 million impressions from myself. So I think I can do that for you too. I didn't say I can deliver that. I said I did that for myself. I can replicate this exact framework for you. Let's see if it works out. So that's how I'm going to approach it to a different way. So I use your projects, use your extracurricular stuff that you have done to extract the skills to fill in your resume section. And also, if you're doing something on the side, anything on Instagram, right now, social media is so big. If you're building your own personal brand, use that as your experience section. And the third thing I would say is whenever, let's say, even if you're helping out someone do something, always try to think out of the box. Don't say you don't have the experience. Go and right now you have access to Google and all of these AI tools. Go and build something. Go and build a tool. Just I know people are building like tools using Claude and stuff where it is helping up companies. Like I know a 20-year-old built this tool which got him 500K. He sold his tool for 500K USD to a company. He just built it for fun, and it got sold. He didn't have an experience as a 20-year-old. You're still studying, but because he was good at his skill, he did this and he sold it to a company. So that's how you can leverage your skill sets. Go and build something of your own. Use that as your experience section to pitch it to the companies. That's how simple it is.
Okay, yes. So I think maybe adding on that is usually most people don't know that they already have the experiences they need. Don't ever, ever, ever apply for any job, you know, writing it down by yourself, saying that you don't have an experience in a particular direction. That is a very it's literally like shooting yourself on the foot. So you want to make sure that you look into the skill session. Most times when a job, what did you call it now? When a job description or when a job comes out, there's usually the description. You want to look into that description and follow your journey, from all the years, conversations that are in keeping with what you're doing. You need to have a portfolio. What we're going to talk about is right immediately. I think this will be the last of the questions so that we can go straight into the conversations for the night. Usually there are two sets of people who are building online. People who are already building from, I call them the professional A. That means they already have a career in that direction. They just showed up online to replicate that same thing. While the professional B is the builder. That person is probably just showing up online for the first time, has no idea about what to do, where to go. Now, what you do in that case is that you look into the basic skills you already have, or you make plans of building a particular skill. Now, when you build that skill, every time you execute that skill, it is portfolio worthy. Every time you execute that skill, you take a screenshot and it's a portfolio, right? You can do it for someone free. Don't ever say you don't have an experience. You can send the DM to someone right now and say, oh, you want to work for them. Of course, make it time bound as well so that you are not, you're not, you don't experience burnout. Like someone who I currently work with in my community, she first of all reached out to me and told me she wants to help out in a particular direction. So we didn't start out with any official agreement. She did so well in the first month. So I was doing something in my community. She reached out to me and said, okay, she can help with managing conversations around the community. That was my first camp for the year. Now, guess what? When I was working with her, she was not a community manager yet or a customer success operations officer. None of that. In fact, she showed up on LinkedIn for something else. But she started paying attention. In fact, one of the things I did was I helped them, those people that were in that camp, build, resume specific. So now on her resume, she has taking care of 1,500 professionals, and every other person was in camp saying they don't have opportunity, they don't. But somebody started the work. So now on her resume, our life events, we've been able to host over 50,000 professionals. That is on her resume right now. The number of our community members, that is on her resume right now. The number of camps that we've had over, from January up to this point, that is in her resume right now. Now, tell me, if she submits that resume to an international client, they know that this girl is too good. Like she's working with somebody who already have a professional, or she's working with a client who has over 30,000 plus followers on LinkedIn. There's nothing, like there's no argument around it. The problem we have is that most times we want opportunities to come to us, and usually, like I say it over again, that is the conversation most visibility coaches teach a lot of people. Or just wait, opportunities are going to come to you, which is inbound leads. It's not like it's bad, but if you're starting out for the first time, you want to have a total immersion. That's what I call it, right? You want to make sure that you're headlong into it. Reach out to people. Hi, I saw that you're doing this. Based on what I can do for my niche, I think I can help you do this. Don't worry about payments. Like, for me, then there was no payment conversations between me and her board, knowing fully well that I'm somebody who I don't like people who would work for me without anything coming from me to them. Quickly, I had to put her on something when she decided that, oh, she wanted to continue the job. And every time I always ask her, do you think that this is what you want to be doing? Because you already have built a portfolio that can literally help you work with anybody around the world. So those are the things you want to look out for. If there are communities already around you, you want to quickly meet those people and tell them you want to help them out with this. Like I said, apply pressure, right? Apply pressure. What you want to do is get the job and apply pressure. Don't work for somebody in a laissez-faire atmosphere. That means, oh, you're working with this person and this person has to tell you everything, or maybe because you feel like you're not being paid, and so you do it, anywhere you want. If you do that to yourself, it's going to affect your testimonial, because whatever the person is going to write around you is what they experienced about you. So your recommendations might not be so good. So you want to give it a short burst. So if you want to do 2 weeks, you want to do 1 month volunteering, you give it your all. right? And then if you want to do it for as long as, like I said, there are many kind people who will see that, oh, you're very proactive, you're doing the work, and they will start paying you already. But some people might not pay you, and it's nothing because they didn't make plans for you. You can't feel bad about that either. The goal is that you're getting it to be on your resume. So you are also benefiting from the person as well, as much as you are helping the person. So it's like a give and take thing. So please, I don't want anyone on this live to say anything like they don't have experience. Sincerely, maybe the frankest way I'm going to go about this conversation is that is complete balderdash. That means you don't apply and say, oh, I know it, I am going to do it when you apply. That is crazy. In fact, you won't skill the first interview. Just trust me. Maybe AI came up with some certain silly conversations for you and you were able to cross, the first level of the screening. Once you say this on any, what did you call it? Once you say this on any interview at all, you're going out. You don't, I mean, it doesn't make sense. How will you know that you know how to do a role? Simply because you saw it somewhere and copied it. You've never done it before. Sometimes you don't even know how much energy you have until you start doing something. So you want to give yourself an opportunity to build capacity in the direction of what you're doing. So please don't say that, right? I'm hoping that this will not be conversations that we would have anytime soon. Please, if you're on LinkedIn, I've told you guys, I know that visibility coaches have told you to comment from morning to night. You don't have an experience in the lives of what you're doing, but you're commenting all night. That is also negating. That means you're having visibility, but you won't really know how to convert it. And for me, I don't build that way. I always tell my my community members, make sure that you know exactly what you're building for. Choose something. You might not niche down all the way through, because niching down all the way through to a specific niche, a secluded niche within a niche, means that you've had experiences in that direction. And niching down is easier with experience. It's easier with a portfolio. But if you've not achieved that yet, one of the things you want to do is find needs. If you're showing up on LinkedIn, there are certain needs that people would need, or things that you've done for yourself as well. Just like what Simran said, you want to look into your conversations and find things that you've done for people, you've done for yourself as well, you've done for your friends. Maybe you've taught someone how to, you could actually even go to a hall. Like, if you're a student right now and you're at the university, gather 10 or 20 of your friends and teach them LinkedIn. That's where you start from. So the goal is positioning yourself properly. So please, I'm hoping that we will not have conversations like this. Someone saying that they don't have a portfolio, but they know they can do it. You're literally going to go out if once anybody hears something like this. Okay, so very beautiful. Good to see that we are holding these kinds of conversations. Okay, so thank you so much, Simran, for this amazing conversation tonight. Very eye-opening. Now, one of the things I would let us know is that from the beginning, she talked about, inbound leads, how to get inbound leads. Then towards the end, she started talking about, outbound, that's being able to reach out to professionals from your own, like based on your own skill set and solving specific problems. And I would say it again, if you're starting out as a newbie, right, you want to look at your low-hanging fruits, some of the things you've done before, maybe in your career, your job, or your building. You want to talk about what you're building. Like when I started monetization, there was literally almost nobody doing monetization on LinkedIn. In fact, every other person who started talking about themselves as monetization coaches literally, took a stream for my stream. So it meant that I was literally the only person who was focusing on getting opportunities in that direction. And guess what? I talked about it every single day. Any findings, every course I take, every conversations I have, every business I built, I talked about it every day. I didn't care about my reach. It was more like being able to exercise. I made sure my students got results. I posted about my students' results. Everybody who I worked with, like over the years, I kept bringing back my results so that everyone can see and start understanding that, oh, it's actually true that you don't, like, not everything is reach dependent, right? If you're a coach, yes, you will need some form of reach because you need to get clients. But there are certain niches that will not have to bother. You want to reach out and build businesses directly. You don't even need all the, all the thousands of likes and comments, of course, except you're also building thought leadership in that direction. These are some of the conversations we will hold also back end. But for the purpose of this class, like I promised, I'll just quickly use my my slides to please let's also take a moment to thank Simram. I can see what Amarachi said there as well. Please let's all just thank her for coming. I'll quickly use my slides and share everything that I said, everything I left off for last week. So if you're a complete beginner, like you're confused, you don't know where to start from, or you just founded a business and you're looking on how to get clients on board, this class is going to be, basically for you. So we're going to do everything within the time that is left. I don't want to keep us long here tonight. Because I have other things that I also want to do. I want to also start planning for the students as well that we already have on board. Last week um, we had people join us in camp, so I already want to make sure that I am like hosting conversations with them, because I will, like most of you have been following me. I went on a 2 weeks prayer break, and then this is my probably official return from tomorrow. So that's when I'll literally face everybody in camp. So if you want to be a part of us, do let us know so that you can join us to we'll literally take you step by step guide. So I'm going to start my conversation. Please let's just say thank you, Simram. Yes, I can see more conversation in that direction.
Right. Thank you
Awesome.
so much,
Thank you
Dr.
so much.
Vivian, for having
Thank you
me. Thank
so
you so
much.
much for the
Thank you
entire
so
audience.
much.
Yeah, the last thing I wanted to highlight is if you're someone who's getting hired or looking out for jobs, or if you're a founder searching out for clients, you need to have a plan to get hired. That's first, but the major part starts after you get hired. So how do you hold to the conversation, to how do you do the payment stuff? I'm sure Dr. Raven would have a framework, but always have a plan sorted for payments. First, sort out the tool that you're going to use. Pioneer is a tool that you can use. Please use that tool. I'm using that tool to hire people in Africa. So, and US, UK, everywhere in the world, you can use that tool. That's first. Second, never ever go for free work. Always have 50% or like 25% or 10% upfront payment, and then go for your installment payments and stuff like that. Now, a lot of people would ask for contracts and stuff. Read the contract and see if it makes sense for you. Okay. And if people kill projects in between, ask them, don't send the original files. Please, for designers, for editors, please don't send your original files to them. Send them screenshots, send them images, because your work is your work. Own your work. You're not going to give them until they pay you. That's like the number one problem that people are facing right now. It's payment. People in Dubai are not paying me. Can you imagine that? So I'm like super pissed on this entire thing on payments. So this is a very important part that I wanted to flag out. But if anything, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm always there. I'm gonna keep coming back on Dr. Vivian's hot seat stage. Few things that is coming up for next for me. So I'm gonna be launching a design community. I've been talking about it since like the starting of this year. So me and someone would be launching a design community this year. I'm gonna launch a podcast as well. So I did a first session with Jasmine Gatoga and another creator from US, where we talk about how LinkedIn is cringed. So everything that's cringed about LinkedIn, we talk about that in that podcast. I know people do business podcasts. I know Dr. Vivian is doing monetization podcast. I'm going to do the fun one. We have pizzas in our podcast. So if you're someone who's looking out for fun on LinkedIn, very alone, you should join that. We'll be launching the series soon. If not, thank you for so much for being a lovely audience today. And I'm going to go off right now. Thank you, Dr. Vivian, for having me. And I know you're going to guys have a good session here. Bye-bye. Have a great day.
Thank you so much for coming as well. I literally appreciate this. Okay, so I think I saw a comment. I'm so sorry, Amarachi. I don't know if you could share that question again. Let me just see that. Thank you so much, Simran, for
Right. Bye-bye.
coming. I appreciate you, Mildred. Thank you. And everyone who has been leaving conversations. Okay, so quickly I'll share my slides for the day so that, like I said, I have 70 I have 72 slides, and I know that we can't finish it tonight, but I'm going to try my best to um literally help everyone here. Like I said, we're building tonight, we're going to be building coming from two routes. We're going to be building from the fact that you are already a founder. So yes, so some of you, you might not even be that you have worked with any clients yet, but you have gotten an idea that you want to build a business from. That is one. And then the second one would be to have gotten jobs. Most times, getting a job can help you understand how you can also work with founders. It's like reverse engineering. Yes, reverse engineering. One of the things I've noticed is that it can actually be like a round thing. So business owners give jobs, then like people who work on jobs can eventually translate their conversation into businesses. So you can see that is a loophole, like it's a round thing. One of the things you want to do is that you don't disqualify yourself from either one. Mostly what I do for my community members, I say is, if you search for a job for a while and you don't get, start a business. Don't, in all you're going to do, don't wait. Starting a business means you now have an answer to anyone and you want to solve that specific problem for them. So you understand this. So these are two, it's like a round circuit. I've told you guys, jobs are produced by business owners, and people who work or freelancers can actually build jobs out of what they do, can build businesses out of what they do. So it's like a loop. What I did on LinkedIn was that when I showed up, I realized that, okay, it's not as easy to get people to hire you. So what I started solving problem in the direction of what I knew from my background. For most people who have known, I've had over 2 decades of building different businesses. In fact, the first time I started the business, right, I launched the campaign and I made my first 7 figures in that same week, right? So making money has been the easiest thing I could do. And I realized that, oh, a lot of people actually feel like they are stuck, but they are not. It's just that they are not proactive enough to do something. So I'm giving you two options for everybody who is currently on the life. It's like a bifurcation of your why, right? It's either you get the job of your skill or you build a business from that same skill. So I've already started saying something. If you're very smart, you're already hearing something that you can do. If you're a freelancer, don't overly hold on to freelancing, right? What you want to do is, if you're skilled enough, that's for some of you who have already built a career in a particular direction, you want to directly go to B2Bs and solve problems for them and get that. And in this case, you call the shots. You're not lying answering sir to anyone. Even as a newbie, I did that. Okay, so I'm not telling you anything that I didn't do. And like I said, it's one of the things I noticed that was that people on LinkedIn were not paying attention to conversations like this. And so I started it. So that's where the whole conversations around, monetization started. So it's your ability to either get a job opportunity or solve it. That means calling the shots, having the company that solves that conversation. In fact, you are at more advantage when you are the one solving, you know, a business problem for another business. So if you get it, just say, I got it. So I said again, the people getting international opportunities aren't always the smartest. They're not always the most experienced, right? So it's very important that you know that if you're a newbie, in fact, it's a mindset. I would want you to first of all break out of that. Like I said again, that's why I have issues with that person who had asked questions earlier, right? Asked questions earlier about, conversations like the person was saying something like they don't have experience. There's no such thing like that. None. What you want to do is, like, for me, that's why we say you can get a job opportunity in 7 days. The goal is that whatever you have is enough. If you showed up on LinkedIn and you say you are a visibility strategist or an engagement specialist is simple. You start with your post. If I've decided that I'm going to be an engagement specialist, what I want to do is I'm going to tell myself in the next 7 days, I want to engage. Like, I want to engage. I'm not going to be telling somebody, hire me, I'll just stay on their post. No, I'll first of all give myself that opportunity to break even. There's somebody in my community who did that for her dad. So she opened the LinkedIn account for her dad. So I'm saying it again so that some of you can start something already from Monday. For those who can't afford joining us, you want to start. You want to find someone, maybe your mom, open a LinkedIn account for your mom. If you say you want to be an account manager, give yourself the next 30 days. Okay, so I open an account for my mom and then I start. Of course, you're going to use her IP and everything. Don't do it in such a way that they hamper on your account, right? You have a designated phone for that account because you don't want LinkedIn to flag it as somebody having dual accounts. Use their email, everything to open it on their own device in their own location, right? Then you post everything you're promising people you want to do for them. Do for that account. Do it for yourself so that you can grow. So I saw somebody who said LinkedIn engagement specialist, and I noticed a particular pattern. I'm not going to call her out, but I noticed a particular pattern around what she does. She barely spends time on the platform. She does a lot of sharing, and LinkedIn frowns at that as well. So if your conversations are not literally catchy, you want to look at your content, what you share, you want to look at your discipline. So if your visibility strategies, you want to look at your discipline. That means you're going to show up on LinkedIn at a particular time. You're not just going to show up whenever you like and you're saying your visibility strategies. You want to do the discipline of results on your own profile, because it's when you post that you cross 1 million impressions in 3 weeks, in 1 month, in 6 months, in 1 year. Somebody will like, oh, this thing is good. This person did this for herself. Definitely she's going to do it for me as well. So those are the things we want to be looking at, right? You want to make sure that whatever results you're promising people, you already have it. And I've told you guys it's not hard. Start from Monday. Put your body under, right? Put your body under, and then you start having results. So now somehow we're holding conversations on, how we can all start. You can literally start getting opportunities almost immediately. Like I told you guys, and I'm not going to lie about this, right? There are routes that other people have talked about over and over again, but I didn't follow that route. When I started out, I started as a complete newbie. First of all, I have a background in medicine, and when I showed up, I wanted to make sure I worked with international clients because that's how I grew my revenue as well. So the goal was being able to serve people for their niche, and borders should not be a problem. So I told myself, if I say, okay, I want to be seeing patients on LinkedIn, I can't see patients in the right way on LinkedIn from the UK, from the US, except I am board certified for those places. And to be board certified, you need to do the traveling, you need to get those specific certificates. And for me, I like to do something that will not bother me. So what did I do? I went straight into my background, and then I started removing all the conversations I've had, all my, building business skill, right? Sales skill. I brought out all of them, and then I started using them almost immediately. And I said as well, when I showed up, I didn't see anybody doing what I was doing. So it meant that I was the sacrifice, right? I was literally the sacrifice. But most people won't tell you this actually. So you go about calling yourself newbie. I was never, in fact, in the first week, a lot of people knew me and assumed that I had lots of followers when they showed up. But I started making waves from barely, 2,000 followers or even less. I just knew exactly what I wanted to do because I had results in specific directions. So I'm going to say it again. There are two crops of ways to get opportunities, right? You might try the visibility route, but if you don't have skills, you've never built anything. Why do you want to be visible for nothing? So why don't you just start by solving problems? Then, of course, as you get those opportunities, those skills, and what do they call it? As you get those opportunities coming to you, you would literally start having people on board. So I'm going to be very fast. Like I said, I have over 70 slides, but I'm going to try my best. I want everybody that will come here to literally go walk out with something that they want. Then everybody who would want to join us for where we'll literally, do the calls, we'll do all the calls, we'll follow you up, you'll be a part of our communities. So literally, if you want to join our communities, you can go from there, from the camp straight into our community as well. So I said, most times, a lot of times, people talk about not getting opportunities as a result of geographical positioning. Those things are literally true. It's possible that you somebody can be biased enough not to hire you because you're from Nigeria. But the question is, who cares? It's their money, it's their business. They decide what they want to do. Even if I will not encourage that for anyone. So if you're a European or a, an what will I call it now, an American or wherever it is, right? If you have opportunities to hire people, please try your best not to be biased. But you cannot tell. I mean, this is the best advocacy I can do, right? I can tell people right now who are listening to me, please don't be biased. They are very good enough, professionals. Like in my community, I have lots and lots of professionals. So if you're probably building a business, please reach out to me, right? Reach out to me. I'll help you down to the hiring. I have a lot of amazing people in my community who are doing the work, because in our community what we do is that we do the work. We don't it's not reach. Your reach is nothing per se. Of course, if you're a coach, you need that reach. So we treat you based on your what did you call it? We treat you based on your niche in our community. Not everybody will have the same amount of sacrifices to get opportunities done, right? So that is why we're also saying that, okay, some specific niches, you just go ahead and get opportunities. I told you guys, I'm going to say it again. I got I said I got 5 jobs on my first week on LinkedIn. And that's what strengthened my resolve that yes, it's not, opportunities are not entirely defined to reach, depending on the niche you want to serve, right? Depending on your niche. Another thing is that if you're a visibility strategist and you don't have much reach, how about repositioning it from the coaching aspect point of view to literally serving one-on-one clients? That means you work with them. You don't have a reach yet, so you don't have results, right? You don't have maybe 50 professionals joining your cohort. Like last week when we announced, we had like 23 people just bump into the community like immediately. But right, most people might not have this advantage. So how about like following somebody specifically up and telling the person that you can work on their profiles, you can help the person become visible. This is what you did for yourself, and then you hold conversations with the person based on retainer. I have a professional in our community who got $3,000 for doing something like this. So for some of you who are thinking, "Nga, nga, nga, nga," it has to be reach before you start getting opportunities. Most times, what you guys don't understand is that every platform, they are super smart. They will still put you in the platform of your, or what's the word now? They will still put you to be seen by your country's people. So even if I'm doing coaching and I want to launch a low ticket low ticket offer, the way somebody who is from America who is launching a low ticket offer, I think Jasmine's what did you call it? Low ticket offer is $1,000, but I might not do that for coaching. If I'm going to do a group coaching for my country, it's going to take a while to onboard people. If I want to do $1,000 coaching program, then I probably will start from the beginning of the year to keep announcing it, and I'll gradually fill my cohorts. But the truth is, who would want to start at the beginning of the year, hoping that they will start implementing at the end? So why don't you do it done for you? So you get a client to jump on board. You tell them they're going to charge you. You're going to charge them for working with them. So it might be $1,000 retainer, $2,000 retainer, whatever it is. So you can see that for some of us who are in coaches, you can't scale coaching. So some of you are being inspired by the wrong niches sometimes. So even for my own community, I advise people to get inspired by their niche men. And then the problem is that most people in their niches, they are probably they are the first ever to have that experience. And like I told you guys as well, I was literally one of the first who was pushing monetization specifically. That means I didn't really see a lot of people do that. So I had to be the sacrifice. So for some of you in your niche, you might have to push it in that direction so that you don't go about thinking that you need 1,000 people on your profile before you get, or on your comments before you sell anything. In fact, I have a particular friend of mine who literally cried to me last week. In fact, that was the reason why I wrote a conversation on this post, whether LinkedIn favors males or female. He told me on his post, on an average, sometimes he gets to 500 likes and comments. He gets to 200, 300 on an average every day. His posting time favors him. His community favors him. And he launched a project. I don't want to be very specific, but no, not one person bought that project. Not one person bought that project. So my next job for him now, I've decided that I'm going to repackage the project for him in such a way that he will have people come on board, but he will even charge better than he was charging. So I'm telling you guys so that you understand that those are two different things. So if anybody is telling you that, oh, when you get rich that you start getting opportunities, I will say that you better think again. Like literally with my hand on my ears, I'm going to say you better think again, because it's not always as straightforward as that. In fact, people buying from you from your LinkedIn posts is usually a product of um groundbreaking opportunities. That means you probably are a de novo. That means you started solving that problem freshly, or because people have actually seen you have results for other people. So I'm saying it again so that all of us will start making some mental adjustments. So I said again, the global remote economy doesn't really care about where you sleep, all the biases. Yes, it's possible that somebody will you jump on a call and the person sees you and say, "Nah, I don't want to work with you," or the person hears you talk and the person is like, "I don't get what you're saying." There's no problem, right? Nobody really cares, right? What you want to do is that you make sure you convert some of those opportunities for yourself. And I've told you guys how I also do. I make sure that anybody who jumps on a call with me, how I prepare for my calls, I always say, I love you. Not I love you in the sense, I mean, I love your energy. I love your aura. I want to work with you. I literally don't, I can say that I have 100% of converting anybody I jump on one-on-one calls with. And I can tell you that all these things are strategic. They are strategies to getting that done. That's part of things that we're going to do as well in the challenge. So I said again, what you bring to the table is that most of us can work under pressure. You already know what's happening in your country. So if you showed up on LinkedIn, you came for business, right? You already have hunger. You can decide to be disciplined, right? And then, of course, you have the opportunity to, for most of us who are Nigerian based, right? I'll be English speaking countries. It's easier for us to easily blend in, right? So I'm going to be holding. Let me be as fast as possible. Can you all hear me? If you can hear me, let me know. If you can hear me, let me know. I'm going to try my possible best to be as fast as possible, right? Like I said, I have 7 something slides, but I will make sure that everybody who is here gets as many so that you can start implementing already. So I said most times the gap is positioning, and you know that there are different types of positioning. There's geographical positioning where people will not be comfortable working with you. For some of you who will see remote USA, right? Remote USA, that means they somehow want you to be around the US. That means you might be available for traveling or calling meetings. And then there are different kinds of positioning, whether the value matching, I think is Kenny that made this different kinds of positioning very popular in my circle of influence. So for those people who are going to come on board, I'll teach us specifically how that you can position yourself to get literally opportunities. So I told you again, some of you think you don't have skills. No, my sister, my brother, right? My brother, you have skills. You've just been super careless about looking into you as a person. Now, one of the things I realize is that most people who think they don't have skill, in fact, there's how skills are. When you can do something pretty easily, it's easier for you to look down on yourself. That means you might not think that whatever you're doing is that important. That's because you're naturally skilled. So for me, sales, negotiation, closing, I started doing that as early as 5. So I didn't even think it was a skill I had until I started my business and I closed that large amount of money, even in the first week of my campaign, right? I didn't even know. It was when I showed up on LinkedIn I realized that, oh my goodness, so you can actually serve people with this. And guess what? Even as I got those opportunities, I'd already raised about 30 professionals. This is as far back as 2019. And that was what also made my positioning shift immediately, because again, I say the goal is also to work with clients who already have the money. I tell my community people all the time, you want to work with people who can pay you where you are aiming at, right? If your goal is revenue growth, you want to make sure that your positioning is as global as possible, right? As global as possible. Okay, so I'll just be as fast as possible So for some of you, like I said earlier, some of you are very lucky that you probably have a 9 to 5. So that's why you're pretty slow in your ability to catch up or your ability to get opportunities. You have other, what's the word now? You still have, there's something is called, I'm trying to find the name. You still have something that you're holding on to. That's why probably some of you are not stretching enough. So what you want to do is you go all in. So I talked about this in the beginning. So I said the major problem is your strategy, whether your applications, whether your interviews, whether your positioning. We're going to all talk about this. I'm going to be as fast as possible. Don't worry, the main work is in the second slide, right? So I told you guys from the beginning, I think when somebody asks a specific problem, if you're looking to work with the international market, you don't really, certifications are some of the things that you do to just support your claims, right? For people who heard me last week, I talked about it. In the year I showed up, I got certifications up to 26. I have them currently on my profile. I deleted some certifications that were not heading in the direction of where I was going to. So including my medical certificates and all that, I removed all of them from my experience and all that because I wanted my profile to tailor to the people that I wanted to serve. So I said again, international market does not necessarily reward qualifications, even though it depends. If you're building thought leadership, you want to keep proving that this is what you're doing. So maybe your PhD, whatever, in that direction. You want to get scholarship. You want to build in that direction. You want to keep adding as much certifications as you want. But as if you need a job tomorrow, you just need proof. You need portfolio that shows the proof. That's all. That's it. That's it, guys. So, and guess what? That proof does not have to come from somebody else. That proof has to come from you. Can come from you. Nobody cares if it's you. If in fact, what I would do if I wanted to be like a social media manager or a LinkedIn accounts manager in the next 30 days is that I will post consistently, show up, do engagement, build my impressions, build my reach, and take screenshots. In fact, when I'm taking that screenshot, I'll cut out my name for most of it. I can just say I worked with a professional. But is it true? Yes, I have evidence. If the person wants to see real life, I show the person. I can also even tell the person, yes, I did it for myself and I can do it for you, right? We can have a trial period of one week or 2 weeks. If you think that whatever I'm doing is okay with you, then we can go ahead and talk about, we take the conversation to the next step. So I've told you guys, getting opportunities are literally the easiest, right, to do on LinkedIn. The only thing is that for most of you, some of the opportunities you're going to get are going to deter you from actually building something excellent for yourself. So I said again, there are two people. You can go through your degree. I told you guys why I didn't go through my degree, because I wanted to work with international clients as much as possible. They had the money I wanted. So I'm sorry if for people whose niches serve Nigeria solely or any African country where they came from, the word is now you sabi. Do you get it? And not in a bad way. That like you want to serve whoever you want to serve. But for me, I showed up on LinkedIn because I want to serve the international community. So anything, any niche that will not give me that result, I did jump and pass, right? So it means that for me, what I did was when it came to medicine, because for me to consult in the US or in the UK, I had to be certified. So I did jump and pass. What did I do? I went back to my history of how I was able to build my own business, other people's businesses, how I was able to train a lot of professionals or even students then. Well, most of the results I got, like my 7-figure results I got, were from students who were either I had also served in choir in church. In fact, I started with my choir members. In fact, one of my friend was telling me recently that Sky, I've always had this attitude or energy around. Once I see an opportunity, I make sure that I want to carry everybody along. And truly, that's my personality. Even if I'm finding it out today, right? I'll teach somebody else by tomorrow. So for some of you who are, counting yourself out of the conversation, how long are you going to be newbie? That's the most embarrassing thing. Please, like I said, if you're in my community, you know that we are not big on that. All this newbie conversation, God forbid, we don't do that here, right? We don't do that here. I'm not comfortable with conversations around newbies. A very useless place to be, because you will not put your body under to get some of the results that you require. There's no such thing as newbie. No, in my dictionary, right? Well, anybody can teach you in that direction, but I'm not comfortable with it. I show up in a place, I'm just finding out something. By tomorrow, I'm teaching people. So for you, some of you who don't know, I started my community when I showed up on LinkedIn April. By September, I had my first event, right? And I had almost 600 professionals show up on my first event. If you think I'm lying, click on my events and go back down, down, down to my first ever event. You will see that the records are there. So I'm giving Peter Obi vibes today. The records are there. It's in the record. So tell me, I don't understand why anybody will be talking newbie conversation. Just find out what you need to do, like get help, talk to people, join communities, and just get to work. Don't hang around calling yourself a newbie. It's just a silly place to be. I'm so sorry. Okay, so that's why we're also inviting you, join us so that you don't have to go through that unnecessary circle, right? I said it again. You can build from two places. If you're probably listening to me for the first time, that means right now you are literally you're just starting out, right? You don't even know anything. Like, even if you're a student, in fact, I love to work with students very much. Like, you're a complete newbie, you're a student, you've never done anything. That means you're going to be in the builder, right? Builder, that's our category B. If you're a degree holder or you have certain certificates, I'm going to call you category A. That's how we're going to do our challenge, right? We're going to have two sects of people that we're building, those who are builders and those who are already certified in whatever or who have worked with clients. That's how we get the opportunities. For category A people, I would even tell you, go down to founding something. In fact, what we do in our communities is down to name selection. We help you go through that journey of starting something on your own. We tell you exactly how to, get clients on board, how to find clients, how to get opportunities as well. For those people who were with us last week, one of the things we said was that hiring happens long before you apply. That means, and I said it in this conversation, the conversation I had was I said that you are the job before the job. That means you should get a job like yesterday. And that's how sincere I'm going to be. For some of you who are going to join us, you're going to see how simple it is. The only problem is that some people are lazy, right? And they just want to give excuse. There's a place in your life where you're a chronic complainer. I noticed that literally most times among Africans, there are it's not like I don't want to say that that's what we do, but I realize that a lot of people are chronic complainers. They don't want to do the work, but they want to keep saying that they don't get it. And that's the worst place to be in this phase of your life. You don't want to be in that phase. You just have to mentally prepare yourself to get opportunities already. So I've told you, the whole hiring process starts long before you apply. And I can tell you that you can get opportunities even before opportunities start looking for you. If you're starting, if you're starting out for the first time, you can actually just get opportunities right away and just, save yourself all the drama that people go through. Okay. So whether it is in recruiters, search or your research for your niche, right? Yes, I said it last week. You're the job before the job. Um, you know, whether you're on LinkedIn, whether your name on Google, whatever it is, we're going to do all this in camp, right? I didn't explain all that. So, like I said again, for some of us who showed up on LinkedIn for the first time, you showed up and probably one of the first things you started doing was that you started applying immediately. All of us did the same thing, right? All of us did the same thing. All of us who we came on LinkedIn, we just started applying immediately. But nobody will tell you that all those things are drama, right? All those things are drama. Applying immediately is just setting yourself for discouragement. It's possible that you can apply first thing, like, again, there's another law that can superimpose on other laws. And in fact, I'm going to teach us as well that in camp. That means there's a possibility of applying the very first time and getting opportunity. That's what happened to me, right? There are other laws that can superimpose on other laws. Okay, let me take a few moments to say, please, can we all help share this life again so that we can have a lot of people who come in? If you have shared before, please help us share again so we have more people come in, because I notice that a lot of people think that these things are hard. They are not hard. It's just that most people don't tell people these things. Okay. So, like I said again, one of the things you want to note is Okay, so let me see where I was. It's like my slide moved. Okay, yes. Remote work is not an application game. So, like I said earlier, most of us, once we show up on LinkedIn, we are already desperate for jobs. Then we start applying like randomly everywhere. For me, I got, but not all of you will have that kind of, grace. And it's not bad. For me, in fact, I've said it over and over again. There are ways to bend other laws, but discipline is still one law that can transcend all niches, all opportunities. So it means that if somebody does it for the first time and gets an opportunity, the person who is probably disciplined enough to correct their positioning, do the job that is necessarily start keep holding on, keep showing up, that person is likely going to be better than anyone who just showed up and got opportunity once and took off. This stamina is very, very important. Stamina is very, very important in remote working because remote working is very volatile. In fact, if you don't discipline yourself to get opportunities. Okay, give me a moment. Okay. If you can hear me, everyone, please let me know. So, like I said, remote working is about character. It's about discipline. It's about structure. It's about system. Most people don't tell you this because sometimes your contracts end, right? Nobody talks about this one enough. So if you apply and the first ever job you applied for, you got it, it's possible that you can lose it in the next 1 month or 2 months. And then when you have not built character or built discipline, you if let's say you try the same thing and it doesn't work, you can easily give up, and then you can't build anything serious from that direction. And you know that the goal is to make sure that you earn above. It's remote working is also revenue dependent. That means you're looking to earn more than the average person in your circle of influence earns. For me, that's part of the reason why I started remote work. I know I'm going to have access to thousands of dollars on one client alone. And that was why I started building. And for that, for most of us who are Nigerians, you know that the average salary, maybe if it's so big, it's 500K. And that's not much for what is happening in the country and the inflation and all that. You want to make sure that you're going above, you're earning more than you. Yes, you want to make sure that you're earning more than you have to spend. Okay, so that is why it is very, very important that you look into remote workings. For some of you who are still unsure about it, please take it with your full chest. Most times, by the time you check at the end of the year, the amount of money that had come to you, like the most average hardworking, 9 to 5 would hardly earn what you earn. That's just the truth. But your positioning is very, very important. Okay, so most people think it's please hire me, apply on any other job. But you want to make sure that you're positioning yourself enough to solve problems, right? Solve problems. That's where we are, right? So this shift changes everything. So every time you come in contact with any client, just the goal is not hire me. The goal is I see what you're doing right here, or I saw what you wrote on your post the other time. I can help you do this at zero cost. You can even start with at zero cost, but I'm only going to do it for you for 2 weeks. I'm only going to do it for you for 3 weeks. Most times, these people all get eventually retained, especially if you're super good that you can prove Hi, good to see you guys waited. Thank you so much. If you can see and hear me, kindly let me know that you can hear me. I'm so sorry. My network tripped. Okay, can you all hear me now? If you can hear me, let me know so that I can be very fast. Oh, this is so lovely to see you guys waited. Okay, so if you can hear me, oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my bag of positivity. Our amazing Zion. Thank you so much as well for that. Oh, but I'm back. Can you all hear me now? I'll try to round up as early as possible so that I don't keep us long here. Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much for waiting in. My network just tripped off. I think something happened. I did a whole lot of work this weekend. I was downloading and reloading. Our last event, I want to use the video clips for something. So I was literally downloading and downloading. So I think I weighed in. Um, I used a whole lot. Okay, yes, so beautiful. Thank you so much. So I'm going to be very fast so that we will be done. I will start a little bit of what the people who are in camp will do, just so that anyone can just start getting opportunities right away. Okay, so like I said again, a strategy is usually the problem. It's strategy also involves the mindset, like, and laziness also plays a role. You want to give yourself an opportunity to stretch. Please, it's possible that you've never done anything like this before in your life. You've never put your body under. Like I used to tell my community members all the time, most of the energy I have is the medical energy. You know how it is for most of us, is that if you fail, somebody's gonna die. So that's how I showed up on LinkedIn, and I could not have opportunities. There's no way I couldn't have had opportunities because I awesome. Thank you so much. I'm back. Thank you so Mr. Zion, we need to talk. Oh, I have something. We need to talk. Awesome. So yes, blessing. It's possible. Yes, remote working is not, let's say, it's not just an application game because some people would have the opportunity to break that rule. Like for me, I said again, when I started out, I started applying and I got those opportunities. But your background also matters, what you know matters, what you've applied before also matters. So that's why I told you guys that we had two categories. We have the category A, who has already done well in that particular path, maybe just showing up on LinkedIn to apply opportunities, or who wants to build thought leadership. Why category B, which are usually students who probably have not started anything before, can just go ahead and start building immediately. And I told you guys, it's the simplest thing to do, right? Again, is that one of the things I noticed, that because most people are not giving themselves opportunities to think. And I told you the remote workspace is literally very tight. It's tight because um it's tight because um, it's possible that you're working on a project right at this moment. In the next 2 moments, you don't have that job anymore. So that's why what you want to build, and for me, I always advise my community members, right? You build into the business point of view. Move from your one-on-one. That means other people controlling how you get opportunities to you controlling how opportunities come for you and then to others. That means you have an opportunity to help others get opportunities as well. So we'll discuss this for some of us that are already on board, right? We'll discuss all this. So I said visibility alone, especially for some niches that you have no business trying to build visibility first. You want to build proof first. If you're a newbie, for the people from the builder's point of view. I know this deception where, okay, the goal is that you want everybody to know you, you want to prove a point, all those dramatic things. You don't know anything, right? You don't, your goal is to be visible first. Well, again, you want to be visible for what exactly? So you want to make sure you're properly positioned for conversion of that visibility, because yes, visibility can make people find you, but when they jump on that one-on-one call with you and they're seeing that you have newbie list all around you, any small thing, I'm a newbie, you jump on calls, you're holding that conversation, can you do this, I've never done it before, but I will try. What's the meaning of that? Who hires anyone for I will try? In fact, if any reasonable person shouldn't hire you because you said, oh, you can do it, even though if you don't have evidence. So I'll say again, what you want to do is to build evidence immediately. So I said again, visibility alone does not create opportunities. Even when opportunities come there, need conversations that is come for you, because the remote workspace is possible that 6 months, 1 year, and they take away that opportunity from you and give it to somebody else. So what are you going to do when you start experiencing certain form of dryness? Of course, that's where financial discipline come in. You are not just having um opportunities alone, right? Okay, so opportunities alone, you want to make sure that you find ways that opportunities are coming in pipelines. Okay, so it's not, oh, I'm happy to announce, is that you make sure that opportunities are coming to you, so that when this project dies off, you quickly get another one and you just keep moving. So again, if you're starting out for the first time, your goal is not visibility alone, right? Alone, remember, I keep saying alone, right? You want to first of all qualify any skills, you want to look into what you've done before now, you want to qualify them, right? You want to document them. That's where building portfolio comes in, right? You also want to position to solve problems. So if I want to get a job tomorrow, I know exactly what I want to do. If my goal, I can decide that, okay, I'm going to reach out to 10 professionals tomorrow. And guess what? 10 professionals, we talked about it in our last class, that saying that you want to reach out to 10 professionals is not even a big deal. Some of you were telling you DM strategy. Of course, if your DM strategy is whack, like most people who send me DMs, I used to laugh. Sometimes I'll correct them. I'll tell them, oh, don't do it like this. You're doing it like this. You're not going to get this opportunity if you do it like this. That's what I do for most people who send me DMs. But like, it also matters how you okay. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Like I said, I what I did was some. Yes, I'm just taking permission from my head of time. This source might be a little bit troublesome. I used up the other source. So I'll try to summarize this. Please, as much as that can join the train, where we'll do like how we always do in our classes is that we focus on you until you get your or opportunities. You can ask questions. So what you get from the camp is usually what you determine. And then of course your use. If you do assignments often, you're going to get opportunity faster. Okay, so I said um positioning your expertise does not mean hire me or I've been out of job, I'm homeless. You see posts like that on LinkedIn. Well, I'm not comfortable. Like I said, I've never been comfortable asking for opportunities like that. I don't know. Um, when I was growing up, even to ask my parents for money was a hard thing for me. So I have friends, all my friends, I don't think anybody can say I've ever begged them for money before. In fact, I told somebody one day in church that you can ask anybody. If anybody told you that I ever asked them for money, then it's not me. maybe it's, and I'm saying it again for those people who are going to join us in the community. I will not, nobody will send you any DM on my behalf. It's not possible, right? So those are the things that keep me on my toes. But for some of you, your threshold is so low. That means you don't you easily beg, so you're not putting in the job, you don't mind, you're looking for opportunities to always be helped in many things. That's not how we do it. What we do is we make sure that we have people, um we help you, but you have to think I said that source is going to be troublesome for some of you who want to join us. We'll do all this as well. Teach. So since we said 90 minutes and we had our amazing I'm so sorry, guys. I know that you can hear me now. Please pardon me. I've never had this sort of experience before. I normally would use my router, but I was using my router for a lot of things this weekend. So I downloaded a whole lot of materials, and also I downloaded some of the last week's conversation. So I didn't know that I had strained on my reserve. Okay, so how are we all doing? Can you all still hear me? If you can hear me, just write HM. I'm so sorry about this. I think I'll end the live early. I'll probably end it in the next 10 minutes. If you're we can what's the word? For as many of us yes. Many of us that can join in, let's just join into the community and then we'll start. Thank you so much. Oh, this much people were waiting on me. Thank you so much. This is very humbling. So this is a whole lot that we're going to be doing in the challenge. We're going to do a client acquisition mastery. So if you're a business owner, we'll teach you how to do that from, or you want to become a founder, we can do that in a short time. It's just that it's going to be a whole lot of work for you. And then if you're a somebody who just wants to get a job and that's it, you don't want the sleepless nights of founding something, we'll also do the same for you. So we have 15 modules. That's what we're going to learn, all these things. Let me just go through the slide. I told you guys this, I have literally almost 50, 70 something slides. So these are everything we're going to be doing in camp. For as many that will join us, we have a wait list, and that's why we want everybody to just join the wait list. So we'll go there, and it's very easy. In 7 days we'll do this. But like I said, I have a background in medicine, so I have a background in hunger, if there's a word like that. Okay, because for the remote workspace, you need hunger more than you need to be skilled. You need to be hungry more than you need to be skilled. So if you will join us, we're going to also help that out. So you can see that in camp, we're going to be super focused. Visibility, we can always talk visibility. That means if you have grown to a certain level and you want to build thought leadership, we would all the disciplines that you need to do. We're going to talk about it in there. So I don't know. Let me just take a moment to answer a few questions for the people who have been patient with me to hanging on the live, and you have any questions, just ask me so that I can solve one problem for you. Then every other person see you in camp. Okay. So let's just do that because I want to end the live call very soon. I'm so sorry about what happened today. Um I normally have two possible sources. One, which is this one right now, is very powerful. It doesn't have any problem. Then the other one is usually for my phone, and that one misbehaves a lot. But I was using up my router for some things earlier this week, so I didn't know I was taking up a lot of data. So that's where um the tripping was happening. So do we have any questions for people who are joining us from Facebook, from YouTube? I know some of you don't even know anything about these things, and but we can do all that because I know that most people don't know much about the remote workspace. Remote workspace is like an alternative career. It's a full blown career. Like you can build anything, get opportunities from sitting at home. That's what happened to me. So ever since I started my remote workspace, I even find it very hard to go out. I find it very hard to go out ever since I started my remote space. In fact, it takes a whole lot of discipline for me to, you know, go out. Of course, for the people who are in the camp, the slide is automatic for you, right? After every class, we'll give you this. In fact, what I'll do for the people in camp is I'll save the what did you call it? The slides for us on a read-only seller account so that you can have access to it anytime you want. So you can read. You can't download it, so you can't share it. That's what I do. None of my things because I put in a whole lot of energy, so I don't give out those things. And again, that's how the human mind works. If you get something for free, I've seen it all the time. People don't take it seriously, so they don't use it. So I have to. for everybody who wants that. Yes, please do well to connect with people in your niche as well. So if we don't have any question, any other question, I'm going to be calling it a light. I'm so sorry about what happened today. It's usually not a norm, right? All my events, I usually hear people complain about network issues, but I don't have that as a common complaint for myself. Okay, so do we have any questions? Let me just take questions. Please be fast. Whoever has a question, you can ask me. Else, I'm going to be calling it tonight. Okay, I can see that a lot of people are joining back in. I'm so sorry, guys. Thank you for stepping in. Another thing is that Simram did a whole lot of work for me, so I didn't really have to do much. It's just that uh her conversations were for people who already understood what they were doing. For me, if you join my camp, what I normally do is we go from we go from the background. We can even question your niche because I notice again, like I said, some people join camps or join buildings. What they do is they copy what their coach is doing or they copy just anything without proof. So for those people, we change their niche, we scatter niche, we used to scatter niche in camp so that you have a niche that is more favorable to what you're doing. Okay. You want to have a niche that is suitable to what you're building. So like I said again, your why is very, very important. I think that's part of the first videos we send to everybody who join our community, right? We make sure that you understudy your why because it's very important. It helps you for, you know, long-term building. Okay, so I'm going to take a moment. Oh, I think I turned off my camera by mistake. Okay, so if we don't have a question, we're going to be calling it a night in 4. Okay, let me see. Is there any questions? Okay, I'll be ending the live in 4. Well, I didn't even tell you guys. Today I was under the weather. Literally, this class almost was not going to hold because I was literally knocked out. For some of you who knew, I went on my church was having a retreat, right? For the past 2 weeks, and we're praying for long hours. So I think normally when I'm fasting, I take juice or just fluids, but what I did for this particular fast, I didn't do a lot of fluids. In fact, I didn't take fluids at all. I did dry. So my body had the worst heat. So I've been a little bit, I was under the weather yesterday, day before yesterday. Even today, like I couldn't stay in for second service. I slept throughout. It was that bad. So I almost thought that this life was not going to hold. So for me, it's already a big win. I want to celebrate my community manager, Faith, for making sure that this held where's Faith, let me spotlight her. For some subsequent events, Faith, you'll be in camp, you'll be backstage with me, like you'll be on the live call, because I realized that if you were in on the live call, it would have been easier for you to continue the conversation even when I was out. So you from consequence or subsequent events, you'll be on the live call with me. Then another thing I want to add is that while having a some of you saw my last win I celebrated, right? I joined a project on Project TEDx Africa, and so made a director for I was made a director um for global and ambassadors, and so I would like people to join my team, right? So please, if you also want to be a part of my team on bringing people on board, trust me, just having TEDx on your portfolio is a very good one. So these are how to build as well in public, right? You want to join people that are building. I, I'm not, yeah, what they will do, part of the things they are going to give us is that they will post our professional photos on their platform. That means anywhere that link is clicked or TEDx is seen, they are going to see all of us there. So I'm hoping that I'll have a lot of people come on board. Of course, some of you who know TEDx. So we have an event on the 26th. I think I want to rest this week, either 26 or on the first week Sunday, the first Sunday of August would have a live event. I wanted to make these events weekly anyway. I've done it before, but um I also have clients to handle, so I'm not as free as I used to be. So, but maybe I'll talk with Faith and see how she can maybe handle it along other people. So it means that we'll just have a system of always educating people weekly, right? So that people can learn, so that those who can't join us can start implementing based on the level of clarity that they have, right? But then those who can join us should join us. In fact, that's why we did this land your job role in 7 days, a loot get offer. Normally we like to work with people for the whole year. I don't like short term, but again, I also realize that there is the back end, like the negative part of long term, is that people will not do what you ask them to do because they feel like they have time with you. And if you're working with me and you have that mentality, you're already at loss. And for me, I get hurt. Like if I'm showing you what you're supposed to be doing, like just honor yourself and do it. Like it's not that bad. It's not even a hard thing to do, but most people are just like that. You really can't help them. Tom, I don't know what I can do for people like that as well. So I want to say thank you so much, everybody. So this, I really was breaking out of sweat. So it's malarial, like perspiration. That's what I was having. But thank you so much, everyone, for showing up. For those people in camp, for on our wait list, would ask us certain questions. Most of this week, we'll be asking questions. For those who are confused, we'll open the chat so that any challenges you're having, so that by the time we start the getting opportunities and job, everybody will just get answered, and then you all get your opportunities as well, and then you build resilience. I said it again, remote work rules. Remote work is not necessarily about the opportunities. It's about resilience. It's about ability to build a system, because sometimes the people whom you've worked with might decide they don't want to work with you again, and it's not a big deal. The word is on to the next one, right? On to the next one. So thank you so much, everybody, for sitting it out with me. I'm so grateful, and I'm specifically thankful to God, because I almost felt like I was not going to have the energy to do this, but I'm grateful to God that I was stubborn and it happened. So hopefully in our next event, I will just take on the energy. So please, guys, pardon me. I realize that most times when I bring people on board, it's usually tougher for me, right? It's usually tougher for me. Partly again, because like I said, most of the routes I followed were routes that were specific for me. It's not what other people experience. So in our next other lives, apart from the one we're going to be doing for the TEDx, I have Mr. Izu and someone, Mrs. Dr. Pamela. She's all the way from the US. We're hosting around TEDx, what TEDx can do to your career, right? We're going to have discussions around that. But any other life that you're going to see me organize, I will likely do it alone. Because again, if I'm going to consider timing, I'd want to make sure that I keep the time. So thank you so much, everyone. So I'm going to be ending the live in 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Legend tells of the phoenix, a mythical bird that burns. It symbolizes renewal, strength, and transformation. 1 year ago, Phoenix Gate Group was born with that same fiery spirit to inspire, connect, and empower professionals across the globe. And what a journey it's been. Under the visionary leadership of Dr. Vivian Magnus, our founder and lead coach, we didn't just take flight, we soared, we stumbled, we built, we believed. And today, through tears and triumph, we celebrate 1 year of relentless impact, meaningful milestones, and unimaginable transformation. From humble beginnings, Zoom links, voice notes, midnight strategy calls, we've grown into a powerhouse community with nearly 1,000 members strong. In just 12 months, We have reached over 40,000 professionals across the US, UK, Ghana, Nigeria, Uganda, and Kenya. Nearly 1,000 attendees joined us weekly on LinkedIn, and the world took notice. This year, Phoenix Gate was honored with the Social Impact Award of the Year and named the most impactful community of the year. Those trophies, they carry the fingerprints of every volunteer, every coach, every community member who chose to rise with us. But our story goes beyond resumes and recognition. Beyond professional development, Phoenix Gate has walked into the sacred space of business strategy with international and non-governmental organizations. We've led masterclasses, outreaches, boot camps, and visibility challenges that didn't just teach, they healed. And through it all, Dr. Magnus, our business development coach, stood at the center. A quiet force, a lighthouse in the storm. So now we ask you, are you struggling with your line visibility? Do you ever feel unseen while secretly dreaming of becoming a commanding influence, a recognized thought leader? Are you in that place between faith and fear, waiting for your breakthrough? At Phoenix Gate, we've already reached 40,000 professionals and business leaders worldwide. But this is not about numbers. It's about the transformation behind every name. We train you. We champion you. We give you a platform. And when you stand to speak, we make sure the world listens. As we mark this one-year journey, we do it with full hearts. Gratitude overflows for our members, our partners, and every soul that carried us when we were too weary to walk. Phoenix Gate Group is not just a network. It is a living, breathing, purpose-driven community. It is hope. It is healing. It is home. And still, this is only the beginning. Here's to a future brighter than flames. We rise together.